We're live. Hi, and welcome to Gay Out the City. I'm your host, Prince Electro Diamond, and today I am here with OnlyFans content creator and Instagram model Sean Steer. How you doing today, sexy?
I'm doing great. How about you?
I am, I'll say, chugging along. Like, just as we were talking about before, it's like I'm gritting my teeth. Like,
You're getting there. You're making
yeah,
it. You're making it happen at least.
that's that's the thing. I was looking at like one of these Twitch or not Twitch streamers, TikTok like live people who's like, I'm just so jealous of you going out there and doing it. I'm like, I saved my money. That's why. It's like, and when I
Mhm.
knew I had to go, I had to go. I remember literally telling my dad, this is how my dad found out I was moving to Detroit. So like I was at somebody's house for Thanksgiving and he was there and I was having a conversation about Detroit and he's like, he's moving to Detroit. I'm like, I am. And that's how he found out. So like clearly we don't communicate. Like
Feel that. I
but it's
definitely feel that.
but he was like but it's like even when I was like so we had like the conversation, he dropped me off at the airport. So like when I was going up there, he's talking about all this stuff and I pointed out to him, I'm like, if I don't leave now, I have the motivation to leave now. When am I gonna leave? Like
Mhm. Yeah.
I've done all the research, like I mean, granted, I tried getting a job in Detroit. It's not as easy as one would think, especially living in Florida.
Yeah.
And and this is the thing. To anyone who's moving out of state, nobody wants to hire you unless you can commute to their job. That's literally, I'm thinking,
They
I'm
want
like,
you to get
why?
there. They want you to get there and make sure you know 100% what you're getting into. It's really hard. It was hard. I mean, I was lucky. I found something when I was moving back down here, but it didn't last that long.
Mm, no, definitely. So, so what was it like for you growing up as a kid in Jersey?
It was all right. I mean, we moved a bunch when I was younger, and then we finally moved somewhere like when I was in eighth grade. I think that's the place we stayed the longest. We moved up to New York, and it was nice because I grew up right outside of New York City, but it's still, I don't know, it's still very, it can be kind of closed minded still, even though you're right outside New York. I feel like, so I really wanted to escape, get as far away from there as possible. Which is why I ended up in Florida the first time.
Wait. Hold the fuck up. So like, you were outside of New York City and you thought moving to Florida was a smart idea.
Hey, I love Disney World, and we would come down here every year growing up. We'd go to Orlando or Miami, so it was like where I've wanted to live my whole life.
Okay, here's where I'm gonna give the other side. Florida is trash. Don't move here. Like, no.
Hey, my friends from home say I'm a Florida man, so that makes
Yeah,
sense.
I mean, this is what I would say. Move to if you need a beach, move to other coast, but not LA. Don't.
Right? I probably should have put California on that list ahead of Florida, but I knew places in Florida. It was nostalgic for me. So, and I stayed on my coast because I thought the East Coast was better than the West Coast when I was younger.
It still is. Okay, well, okay, no, I haven't been to the West Coast. Well, I've been to the West Coast a few times. My thing is like California is great. California is great outside of Los Angeles because like for me, I know enough people in LA. It's like if you let that culture get into you, you're gonna be like one of those people who sits there and like sees the untalented person on stage and be like, "Oh my god, babe, you did amazing work. I love it." Whereas I'm too East Coast for that. I'd be like, "Who the fuck told you should go on stage? Like what kind of asshole lied to you and told you had talent?" No.
Yeah, that's definitely the difference.
Because I see like this is what I have to say. I know you were you told me you were a dancer at one point. This is what I do not get. This trend of dancers all of a sudden now thinking that they can become rappers. No. No. Just but I want no. Like
it's very true. I've seen that before. I've seen it a lot of times.
and it's like just when I thought it's like, oh, there's one who's not, all of a sudden they're like, I'm coming out with a new single.
Always.
Why?
Always.
Why? I mean, if you have a passion for music, it's like you are not Cardi B, bitch. You are Cardi F. Get the fuck off the mic. Like, no.
Cardi F. I love that. I'm gonna use that from now on.
And this is why I'm staying in. Well, this is why I'm moving to Detroit, because it's like clearly I can't move to LA because it's like I'm gonna say the wrong thing and then all of a sudden bitches are gonna kick me out of every party. I'm gonna be like, well, that makes sense.
Right.
I know like a hand. Okay, of the people I know in LA, I honestly only like about 4 people. So, like,
yeah.
That's whereas other places, if I had to do a major city for me, it obviously besides Detroit, it'd be New York. I can't afford to live in New York. That's why I'm moving to Detroit.
Yeah. I would love to live in New York City, but it's way too expensive for me. And I don't want to have like a million roommates just to be able to afford my apartment living in a closet.
Yeah, I do. No. That's why when people are like, you can afford to move other places, I'm like, no, I can't. Because I have a very simple rule. It is if we're living together, we're fucking. So like if I'm not like having sex with you, get the fuck out of my apartment. Like no. Ugh.
Right. that is a good rule. I like that one. I think I'm gonna use that from now on.
Because it's like, granted, I mean, like, you don't. Well, some people don't have that high of sex drives. It's like I am one of those people where I could have like some form of sex every day, but it's like if I do, it's like, oh hi there, Bob. Like, yeah, get up. And it's like, what? Why do you need me? It's like I'm setting off fireworks in here. Get the fuck out of the apartment. Like why does it matter to you? Get the fuck out of my apartment.
Yeah, I usually like every day, especially if I'm home all day and I got nothing to do. Like,
yes. And that was one thing, because like, so I just turned 30 last month, and I was thinking, I'm like, I thought when I was getting to 30, I thought I'd like slow down a little bit, and it's done the exact opposite. It's like all of a sudden I'm hornier now than I was when I was in my 20s. I'm like, how the fuck did that happen? Like,
yeah, I saw someone post about that recently on their Instagram, and I was like, it's so true. Like, I thought I'd get older and not be like be more mature and not be as horny, and I'm just fucking always horny. Like, it hasn't slowed down. It's probably gotten worse.
well, I mean, you're in a actually, well, you're in a relationship, so that means, at least makes it a little bit easier. But it's like,
Yeah,
even I
I
like,
get it.
yeah. I mean, I'm in a, let's put it this way. We're gonna get to this question later, but it's like I'm in a like it's gonna work out at some point situation. Like
Mm.
at some point, like so at one point he wanted to move to Orlando when he found out I was moving to Detroit. Now I convinced him to move to Detroit. I'm like, interesting. I'm I'm like I'm like, that's an ego boost. I'm that good that you're gonna. No, I'm kidding. Oh, it's like work. So, what was it like for you coming out?
um, it was weird. Like, people had always called me gay growing up, and then I came out, and people were like, "You're not gay," and I'm like, "What the fuck?" like literally everyone has said I'm gay for years, and then I actually come out, and people don't believe me. But I mean, for the most part, like my friends were all like really accepting. I stopped being made fun of for being gay once I actually came out, which was a plus. But like, I even joined my fraternity, and I remember there was one of our brothers. He was this big, muscly Spanish dude, like a bodybuilder, and he told some of the brothers if they had an issue with it, they had to go through him. I later learned that he has been a male stripper at gay bars, so that kind of helped.
Well, I mean, that kind of makes sense. But again, that's Jersey. Now we're gonna flip to Florida. We're I would say this. I was brought up in a Catholic household. Had I not been brought up in a Catholic household, I probably would have had it easier. But it's like, um, family was good. Um, fortunately, only had to tell one parent because I came out 4 months after my mom died, so it was easier only having to come out to my dad, and then I have my older sister who was super accepting. Fast forward to last year, my sister came out, so in some ways I was like the accepting brother, but in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, "You're welcome, bitch."
Yeah.
Like I did it for like, but then so the creative artist that I am, I came out to a youth minister at the church, which was a mistake because I told him about this performance idea I had with a knife and how I'd practice stabbing myself because drama, obviously.
Yeah.
And he left the room. He came back in about 10 minutes later. He said, "Okay, you have one of two options. Either you're coming with me or I'm calling the cops." In hindsight, I would have let him call the cops.
Yeah.
So instead, I went with him. He took me to get a psych eval. They had told me I had passed it. They literally told me I had passed it. And then I was on the phone with my dad. Like, I'm like, "Yeah, come back here and get me. Like, I'm all good. Like, I'm ready to go." And then a cop yelled me. He's like, "Get off the phone!" I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I'm just like over here minding my own business. And then they trapped me in a hospital room. And then for 5 hours, they didn't tell me anything.
Oh.
And then like at 2 o'clock in the morning the next day, they told me that I had been Baker acted, which for those of you who don't know, means that I got put on a 72-hour suicide hold and I got transported to a behavioral clinic.
I've been there.
I know, it's fun, right?
Yeah, very. Oh my god, that's just scary. I never want to end up. That is tough.
Well, I
It's a
mean,
tough place.
yeah, it's. I say you meet. Well, you know this. You meet some of the most like interesting. Well, we'll say interesting people here. Like one of the ones I remember was this lady who like barely spoke any English, and she like made flowers out of like cigarette cartons. And I was thinking, you better work, bitch. Like,
I met a woman who was like, I come whenever my family's getting to be too much for me. That's what she told me. She treats it like a little vacation. But
It is kind of a vacation. Like
oh
it.
yeah, you get to do arts and crafts. You get to watch TV. I mean, I can't watch Rachel Ray anymore because she was blasting through the place every morning. But it was nice. I didn't have to worry about school. Nice. It was nice.
I mean, it'd be fine if they let you keep your shoes and they let you keep your
Yeah.
phone. But like, other than that, yeah. So like that was that, and then when I got out, a priest and a priest and the youth minister set me up with a therapist who
Yeah.
tried to pray the gay away. And
Luckily, I
we
lucked
all see how
out.
well that works.
Never having been sent to someone trying to pray the gay away, but I definitely saw search histories from my parents thinking about it. But they dealt with it. My dad took it a lot better than my mom. He never really said anything about it. My mom, she still doesn't think I'm gay. I've been out for over 20 years now. I don't know what else to do to prove it. Like, I remember she told me one time, "How do you know you're gay if you've never had sex with a girl?" I had sex with the girl, and then she's like, "You're not gay. You had sex with a girl."
It's like, I don't know, Mom. But she says, "How do you not know you're gay?" I'd be like, "I don't know, Mom. It took in the ass 20,000 times. I feel like I would know. Like, if I didn't like it, I feel like I would know by now." Like,
I have thought saying those exact words so many times because I know she'll just be like clutching her pearls. Like, she doesn't like that if I take a shirtless picture, okay? Unless it's at the beach. She's like, put your clothes on.
what? Well, but this is the thing. I feel like my dad probably doesn't like the fact that I walk around in like bodysuits and like t-shirt dresses with like no pants on. I'm pretty sure my dad doesn't love it, but he also knows that there's no fucking stopping me. Like,
Yeah.
you can.
I mean, living with my mom, I never really have had a guy over for the night much. But when I was living at my dad's, like one of my boyfriends was over every single night, and he just was like, "Hey, you got to move your car." Like he never said anything. My boyfriend came over once for the weekend, and she was trying to get him out the entire time, the whole weekend. She was trying to get him to go back home. And I'm like, he's just staying for a couple of nights. Like, I had just gotten my tonsils out, so he wanted to like be there for me, make sure I was okay because I just had surgery. Like, whatever.
You had just. Well, first of all, it's not. You just had your tonsils out. It's not like you were going to do anything anyway.
Right? I was like, we're literally just taking my OxyContin together and bed rotting, watching TV.
It's like, Mom. It's like my tonsils were just taken out. I literally, even if I wanted to, I can't put it in my mouth and hit. I can't put it in my mouth. Like, I can't. Like,
Oh
there's
yeah,
nothing.
I could barely talk. Like,
See, that's. I will say this. Luckily, I don't think my dad can hear me. It's like he doesn't. I when stuff happens, I like try and play dumb. Like when he's gone with like the dog for a while, I try and cover my tracks. But like sometimes if I don't, it's like. Well, first of all, it's like. So the bed that I use primarily is the one that's in my sister's room. It's one I'm literally taking with me up to Detroit. It's like it used to be in one of my old apartments. I'm like, if you're worried about what had happened in that bed, you should never let him move into your house. Like,
yeah.
it's like honestly, I would. it's like I would love to play Innocent, but it's like come on, Dad. It's like I own hook. I own. Okay, I gotta think. I own sex worker boots. I had to think of the politically correct term. It's like, what do you think? You think I'm innocent? I walk around in stilettos sometimes. Like,
Right?
and especially it's like I'm moving to Detroit, one of the like blackest cities in the United States. What the fuck do you think's gonna happen? Like,
Yeah.
because that's my thing. As I always say, it's like if you ask me to count how many white guys I've been with, it's like I'm like I could do that easily. 5. It's like you ask me to count how many black guys I've been with. I'd be like, it's somewhere under 100. I know that.
Right? I'm down here and I'm like, I came from a place that was like, I thought it was diverse where I lived, but it really wasn't. Once I moved to Florida, that was when like my friend group really diversified. And yeah, these white boy gays sometimes, I know I'm one of them, but like sometimes they're crazy. They just think about themselves, I feel like a lot of times, and not like how other people's experiences matter.
See, that's one thing that I have to say. Like, as a queer person who does something like this, I'm the bitch who's like, when I hate this mentality of you have to fail in order for me to succeed. No.
Yeah.
Like, why can't we succeed together? Like,
yeah. That's how I feel. Everyone should have a chance. Everyone should have that equalness, I guess. I don't know. I don't know the proper words. I'm not that educated. I haven't finished college.
Well, I haven't finished college either. Like, I like that was the briefest year and a half ever, and then I was like, I'm like, and then I ended up going to audio engineering school. So it's like, it's not like although my dad's like, because I got my degree, and he's like, you should have done something with that. I'm like, listen, my thing is, I love being a musician. I love making music. The idea of sitting there and having to work on somebody else's project, not only would it kill me inside, but a little bit, but it also be like, especially if they're untalented, I'd have to sit there and be like, can I get earplugs? Like, can I? That was the thing. I started out performing in the open mic scene, and it's like, trust, you hear some great acts, but you hear some god awful people.
Yeah.
And
I mean, like, I was over at karaoke yesterday. Some people were amazing, and some were like, ugh. I know I'd be one of the ugh, so I didn't sing. But I mean, more power to them for getting up there and trying, I guess, because I don't have that confidence for that.
I remember when I was in Detroit, so I went to a karaoke night when I was in Detroit, and it's like, for me, especially like, whether I have the drag stuff with me, like clearly I didn't bring any of my drag stuff to Detroit. My best friend asked me why. I'm like, you think I'm going to trust the airlines with my shit?
Yeah.
And then I'm going to pay to check a bag? Like, unless I'm on tour, I'm not, no. Like,
yeah.
It's like I had no room in my carry-on, but it's like I was putting on a show, and then like sometimes I'd hear people, I'm thinking, do people not have ears? Well, the thing I don't understand is like when people can't keep up with the timing of songs. I'm like, I get you're drunk, but it's like, at least from what I remember, being drunk doesn't affect your hearing. Like, it affects your sight, but it doesn't affect your hearing. Like,
one time I was on a cruise with my family and my little brother. Someone paid him like $5 to go up to do karaoke, and he sang "Hey Mickey." We were old enough to know this song. I don't know. He didn't know any of the words. He didn't know any of it. He was just out there just saying the words completely off beat. Like, and the terrible part is like we looked so much alike, people kept mistaking me for him the rest of the cruise. And I was like, that was not me. I know that song.
Who doesn't know? Well, I mean, I guess it's a generational thing. There's
He's a year younger than me, okay?
Yeah.
He should have known the words.
A year young. No, it's like I'm easily probably. Well, I said I just turned 30, so I mean, like I'm probably younger than you. I know, Mickey. Like,
yeah. He's like just a few years older than you.
yeah, it's like that's why the only time I like mess up on stuff is it's like the thing that I hate about doing karaoke is that you never know if you're gonna get like the short version, like the radio edit of a song, or if you're gonna get the album version. So it's like that's what fucked me up. I was doing Bust Your Windows by Jasmine Sullivan, and it's like I got the radio edit and I was like all of a sudden ready to go in. I'm like, oh no, this is ending right now. Like
No. I love that song. That's my favorite, one
yeah,
of my favorites by her. Especially, I'm sorry, I love
yeah.
the Glee version with Mercedes singing it, when she's actually
Yes.
busting Kurt's windows after she didn't know he was gay.
Right.
It's so amazing.
That's I gotta say for Glee, like some of them. Well, okay, this is just my opinion. It's like as much as people like loved Rachel because she was white and Jewish, it's like I thought Mercedes was a better singer. That's just my opinion.
She was. She's not problematic. I haven't heard anything about her since that show ended.
No, what was the last thing I saw her on? I think it was Jennifer Hudson's show. Yeah, where she did an interview. Yeah, she did. Again, Leah Michelle. It's like how could you be that problematic? It's like how can you have caused a problem on every set you've ever been on?
Right?
It's like you were on Glee. It's like be lucky you were on Glee. Like that's the only reason that anyone knows you. It's like I'm trying to think. What did she do? I can't even tell you anything that she's done after Glee. Like,
she did what? She was in Funny Girl recently, but
okay, yeah.
I think Beanie Feldstein took over for her.
Yeah.
And did better.
No, I'm not gonna say that. That's awful. Actually, no, I should. I'd be like, I know what Corey Monteith did after Glee. So I guess what was it like for you moving to Orlando? Well, okay, we're gonna go with what was it like for you moving to Orlando the first time.
It was fun. I paid too much money for my apartment. I did the Disney college program to get down here because I had heard about it from a classmate, and I was like, "Oh, that's really cool." And then it was like Fort Knox living in those apartments. Like they had security. You weren't allowed to have guests after a certain time. You weren't allowed to have underage guests, even if they were your family. They could only come for like an hour, so you could show them around. But I had a really good job. Like my not paying, but management was amazing. So it made me really. That's what got me to stay for a couple of years that time because I had good managers. I worked with good people. I finally got to live in Florida. paid too much money for that apartment. I was doing the math the other day. We had a 2-bedroom, and I had to share it with 3 other people, and we were each paying $100 a week for this apartment. In 2009, we were paying $1,600 a month for a 2-bedroom apartment.
that you were sharing was no.
Yeah, because we each paid $100 a week.
Yeah. What I'm saying is like,
I would never do it again, but it was fun and it was a good way to like get down here. And I had a job. Like as soon as I got down here, I stayed there for like a year and a half, almost 2 years before I decided to move back to New Jersey, which didn't last very long because I came back again and then left, and now I'm back again.
So what's the longest you've been like between back and forth? What's the longest you stayed wherever you were before you came back to Florida?
I was just in South Carolina for 5 years before I came back here, right outside Charleston.
See, that's got to be the magic number because like I'm about to be like in September. I'm about to be approaching 6 years, and that's why I'm like I gotta get out. Like,
Yeah,
like it's time. Like,
I mean, I tried to stay up there, but if I had kept my job, I would have had to move like an hour away from it because there was nothing that I could afford in the area on that pay. And then when I came back down to Orlando to visit, I was like, wait a minute, Orlando is really gay. I miss being around all these gay people because there's a community in Charleston, but it's definitely not as big. We only have one true gay bar in the whole city. It's really tiny. And they call it an everyone bar, so it's mostly bachelorette parties.
well, Orlando isn't that much better. Like,
I know. Nowadays, now we only have like 2 places. It used to have like Parliament House, Savoy, Southern, Stonewall. At one point we had Brink. And now it's the Southern Complex and Savoy, which is fine, but I feel sometimes I'm like, I already went there twice this week. I can't go to the same bar again. I gotta switch it up.
see, that's the thing where it's like once Parliament House closed, I'm like, no, forget this. Like, even
Parliament House was unique. I still tell people about that. People are still amazed at like how much happened there and how much they had that it like my straight friends were like, it was a hotel. I was like, yeah, and a nightclub with like all different types of nightclubs.
it was
And
kind
an
of
actual theater.
Yeah, it was kind of a hotel. Like,
Yeah. I miss that place. I used to go there on every Sunday at least. That was like I used to the college program when I was working over at Disney. They had party buses going from the housing that someone else would pay for, and you'd get into the club if you took the bus there. Like it would be included in the bus, and you'd have a free ride or not a free ride. You'd have a safe ride.
yeah.
You didn't have to drink or drive or anything, and it was so much fun. They brought us every week. I'd go there. Oh, there was a bar called Rain back then that would have a gay night once a week, and the bus would bring us there. Now it's in Agave Azul.
Well, okay.
I go there sometimes and I'm like, I remember when this place was a nightclub. Now it's a Mexican restaurant.
Yeah, like that's the thing. Like, at least from what I know, like what used to be Parliament House, that's now apartments, right?
So there's apartments. They had like a resort part where they were selling timeshares at one point, and that's apartments. And then they bulldozed the whole rest of the complex.
So
It stinks because my boyfriend lives like a block away from where Parliament House used to be. So if it was still there, I'd be there all the time because you could literally walk there.
Well, this was Okay, I'm gonna tell you kind of where I lived, and you might know it because you said you're living near downtown. So I used to live between Paramore and Westmoreland. So like
Hmm.
I lived so from the Parliament House. It's not even
Yeah,
10 minutes. Like
yeah. He's right off Westmoreland right now.
yeah,
So nice little 2-bedroom house. It's great.
it's like I used to, but like when I used to do Parliament House, so like I used to perform. So I did my show at Parliament House towards the end of my night, and then like the beginning of my night. At one point, I used to do an open mic night that was on like Curry Ford Road, like kind of near where like the Wawa and the Winn-Dixie are in that area. So I used to drive there, and then I had to drive across town to Parliament House when I was done and get there and finish my night. I'm like, I did that for 5 months, and I'm like, I gotta give up one of these. I can't be doing this shit because like I would be leaving my house at 7 p.m. and not getting home till 12:30 in the morning. Like this is,
Yeah.
I'm like, and I had to be to work at 6 a.m. the next morning and work till
Ugh.
8 p.m. Like,
Yeah. I
the,
I miss it though. It was a fun
yeah,
place. I remember going there once. I had been dancing at Savoy that night, and then we would go. It was a Monday, and they would have a striptease contest at Parliament House on Mondays
yeah.
at the time. So I was there one day after my dancing at Savoy, and I remember Mr. and Miss Adrian was hosting the contest, and she made me get up there and dance. She's like, "You thought you were done dancing for the night." Lost to some hot straight boy, but he was much better shape than me. I wanted him to win too.
See, oof. This, but I know controversial opinion, whatever. I don't think straight guys should be allowed to work in the gay bars as dancers. That's
Right? My friend, she's had like multiple boyfriends that she met dancing in gay bars.
because to me, it's like, but you already have your bars. You already can go. I mean, granted, it's like you can go work at like the disgusting like Magic Mike type places.
Yeah,
I'm
go work at a straight place. Like,
yeah,
leave it for the gay boys. But
because
lots of gay boys like to try and convert those straight boys. So I get it, I guess.
yes, those of you, I want to convert straight boys. You're dumb. Like it's like he's never gonna date you. Like,
Right? Stop chasing him.
and it's like you can tell if, as I always say, it's like if you're trying to hook up with somebody and he pulls out the condom, chances are he's got a wife or a girlfriend.
Mhm. It's really true. I've noticed that. Uh,
I love this is one story. I'm gonna go to the next question in a minute. It's like I had some like guy's girlfriend text me like I think his name was like Daryl or something. It's like this is Daryl's girlfriend. I'm like, why the fuck would you tell me that? I'm gonna block the number now and not talk to you. Like clearly, what I'm gonna have a conversation with you so you can like be like, what are you doing? What are you doing, my man? It's like I can't help that he gets a boner from staring at my ass. That's not my fault.
right?
Like it's like it seems like you need to talk to him, not talk to me.
Yeah, that's a they conversation. Sorry that happened to you, but seems like you got to figure it out with him what he wants.
And I don't feel guilty. Well, I should say this. I don't encourage it,
Yeah.
especially now that I'm in my 30s. I don't encourage it. However, if something happens, again, it's not your fault. You were there doing an act with them that was clearly consensual. If he
Mhm.
has a girlfriend,
There's times when I found out after the fact, and I was like, sorry, like,
It's
it's
like it's
just
yeah. It's like he came on to me. It's like what was I supposed to do? Be like, what am I supposed to do? Like, hold his hand up to the light to see if there's a fucking tan line? Like,
right. uh,
I love when people ask like, well, when guys ask like, what was his name? I'm like, do you want me to make something up?
uh,
His name was Carlos or Jamal. Like, that's usually.
I've
I have
had
a
many
one out of like.
Carloses.
Well, this was the thing. At least for me, it's fun to as I always say, it's more fun to date outside of your race. It's like if you want to be like white and cliche and boring, go get your life. That's not my zhuzh, but it's like you do you. They say it's like I love when guys are like, but the dick's too big. I'm like, you're just a wimp.
My friend actually told a guy no one time when we were at one of the clubs because he said it was too big. And I was like, I'm here.
Well, that's the thing. It's like I've never had the dick where it's like I felt it the next day. It's like until that happens, I'm gonna keep on trying.
There was one guy I used to hook up with. My throat, it would feel like I had like strep throat for a few days after every time. But but it was good. It's still good. I still talk to him. Sadly, he doesn't live around here, so I haven't seen him in a while. But yeah,
What was that? I remember like being in Detroit and somebody's like, "Too bad you don't live in Detroit." I'm like, "Well, actually, like, like I'm going to be very soon." Like, it's like so. Just be patient. Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, so what made you want to start doing OnlyFans?
I mean, I saw like people doing it. I've always been kind of like an exhibitionist since forever. One time in college, it started a little scene in my fraternity because someone posted pictures of me streaking in the house at an anything but clothes party because I had been wearing just boxers and someone kept pantsing me. He just kept taking. So eventually, one of the girls was like, "Go streaking." So I did, and someone posted a picture of me in the hallway. You could see my whole naked ass on Facebook, and brothers were mad. Like some of my own brothers contacted our like district governor, and he was like, "You need to take those down because it looks bad. It's bad optics if something happens with us." Yes, me being naked in a house looks terrible, I guess. But yeah, I think I went streaking like 4 times that month because I loved it. Most of my friends have seen me naked at one point or another. I have no shame in my body being out there. And the same thing, I had a video on XTube right when I turned 18 that I posted of me masturbating. And it was just under my like ASL was my screen name, like
Yeah.
18 male New York. And somebody in my fraternity found this video of me jerking off because it showed my face. And they were like, "You need to take that down." Why? It's not like I'm wearing my letters in this video. Like, I was so happy. I was like, this got over 1,000 views.
Exactly. It's like at the end of the day, it's like, why the fuck do you care? It's like
Yeah. Hey,
My whole
my
thing is,
dad and stepmom don't care. They're like, if you've got it and you can make money, they're like, use it till till you can't. Like, they've got friends that but got through college by like stripping and go-go dancing, and
yeah,
they're like, as long as you're not hurting anyone, who cares? My mom, another story. She does not want me being naked on the internet, but don't watch it then.
that's exactly the thing. It's again, it's like don't watch. It's like, first of all, yeah, that's a good point. It's like, why would you, like, granted, have I thought about doing OnlyFans? Of course. My thing is, it's not that like I'm morally opposed to it. My thing is, I don't want to have to sit there and do the argument and of it's like I'm an artist, but I saw you do this on OnlyFans. Yes, but I'm a fucking artist. Like,
Yeah,
I don't want to sit there and have to do the back and forth, because you have to sit there and like explain every single decision you make
yeah.
to
It,
people. And I'm like,
it's it's nice. Like, I had a boss that's like, my last boss was like gay too, so he didn't care. He laughs about it. Like, some girl came in and it was our first time meeting each other, even though she followed me on Instagram, and he was like, "Oh, so you've seen his butt?" Like,
yeah,
he didn't care. What's it got to do? I mean, it brought people in. Still, it helped the restaurant because I had people who wanted to come, like, have me give them drinks and food.
right. See, I love when like, see, I will say this. So I like a month ago, I like switched supervisors, and like, so I work for a call center, and it's like I got pulled over into like coaching, and my new supervisor tried to talk to me. I'm like, listen, I'm gonna keep on showing up. It's like, in terms of they like try and show the numbers. I'm like, listen, my numbers are gonna be my numbers. It's like, I honestly gave up in June. I'm only here because I still need money. Like, that's
Yeah.
it's like it's like I don't give a shit. It's like, you tell me all these rules. I'm like, what are you gonna do? Fire me? You'd honestly be doing me a favor. Like,
Just light a fire under you to get out of there, get out of here quicker.
it, it's like, yeah, it's like, go ahead. It's like,
You're doing your job.
it,
That's all that matters.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
at least
It's
you're
like, I'm
there. At least
doing.
you're.
Yeah, what was it? She's like, well, thank you for still showing up. I'm like, do you not understand? It's like, I need to make my money. It's like those people who like give up and like all of a sudden don't show up every day. I'm like, you must be made of money, because I'm clearly not. And it's like, while I still have a job, I'd like to not have to escort. Like, if I,
Yeah.
because that's the thing with the whole sex work industry. It's like, I'm one of those people who's like, in terms of like escorting, it's like, I've never done it before actively, but I'm like, however, if you're gonna hand me money to do something, of course I'm gonna take it. Like,
Yeah.
what a,
Oh
what am I, an
yeah.
idiot? Like,
I'm not dumb. You're gonna give me money for something I enjoy? Okay, thank you.
the only time I like literally said no was because it's just like, it was, at least for me, it was too weird. Some guy wanted me to like fuck his foot, and then I'm out of this. I'm just like,
I remember the first time my friend brought up getting a foot job. He was like, "Someone did it." He loved it. I think it made him. I think it gave him a foot fetish.
and I'm like, if that's your thing, it's like, and the guy was like getting too aggressive, because at some point I just stopped messaging him, and he's like, how much? How much? How much? I'm like, even if I was gonna say like maybe 250, it's like, now that you're annoying me, I'm gonna jump it up to 1,000. Like,
Yeah. Now you're
it's
weirding me out, bro.
it's like, leave me alone. It's like, clearly if I'd wanted to do this, I would have been like gone over to your house and like done that. Yeah. Well, one thing that I can say on the internet. I didn't have this question, but I'm going to ask you anyway. So, like, clearly you've probably gotten some weird ass requests from guys. Like I've heard some crazy stories. I think one of them, like the last crazy one that I heard was like one of the models that I like interviewed said like some guy asked him to like pour it in a bag and like date it. I'm like,
there's
I'm thinking
someone they keep hitting me up and they want to know if I could do a belly roll for them. Like that is what they've asked multiple times. I've never spoken to them before, but they keep asking for it. I'm trying to see.
Like,
if
is
I
it
can
like
find
a
it.
belly roll? Is in like just dancing like a belly roll? That
Like when you do that, when you make your stomach do that like wave thing. I've never been able to do that. So,
no.
but that's all they want is to see me do that, and I'm like, I can't do that. I don't know how to do that.
And what are they well okay, I just want to know because curious minds. So what are they like wanting to pay you to do that?
He hasn't even said it. Here it is. Yeah, I can't even find it now because they're. I guess they unfriended me or something. Yeah. Didn't offer, just wanted me to get on camera and do that. And I was like, I don't know how to do that, so I'll just ignore it. And then they kept harassing me about it. And I just muted the conversation. Looks like they unfriended me, I guess.
See, what I love is like, so I had somebody in like, so I get international. So like, I had this guy in France like message me, and I'm like, on the days when I feel bad about my makeup, when the person asks me, "Are you a man or a woman?" I'm like, well, thank you. Like, this makes me feel like my makeup skills aren't shit. Like, I appreciate that. Like,
Right?
It's like sometimes, as I pointed out to somebody I was interviewing on somebody interviewed on Saturday, I'm like, let's be clear, you are a makeup artist. If I get on Rolling Stone, you're doing my makeup because like I can paint for like this. I can paint for a bar. I don't trust myself to paint for a magazine. Like,
I got that.
Like,
that's me trying to get dressed if I go do like a photo shoot or something. I'm like, what do I wear? What clothes do I bring? What underwear? Like,
it doesn't matter. You're gonna end up naked anyway. So it's like,
but I want to look good before I'm naked.
it's not like you gotta bring a tuxedo. It's like literally bring like a mesh tank top and like mesh under. So technically, it's like you're clothed, but you're not really clothed because it's like
yeah.
So, okay, so I guess so. What was like your first time filming?
I don't know. It wasn't that weird. I mean, it was just me the first time, so just turned on the camera and did it, did the thing. Made sure to like. I'm not like a big moaner. Like I'm pretty quiet usually on my own or like in private, but definitely know to like. I gotta play that up a little if I'm filming. Gotta make it seem like I'm a little more enjoying it a little bit more, even though I am enjoying it.
Yeah, it's like, first of all, to the whole moaning thing, it's like, okay, I'm gonna put it this way. That's all an act, as he pointed out. I'm like, nobody's moaning jerking off. Like
yeah.
Unless you have something like in your ass vibrating as you're like, you're not moaning while you're jerking off. Like,
even that doesn't make me moan that much. Something's up there. I'm pretty quiet overall, but yeah, you gotta like wonder about like what people will like. Like one of my friends, someone got a video of me going down on them once, and one of my close friends was like, "Why aren't you giving us puppy dog eyes?" And I was like, "I didn't even know I was getting filmed this time." He's like, "You gotta look at the camera while it's gagging you." I'm like, "Oh my god." It's so weird getting pointers from people I've known since I was like 17. Okay.
And the pup, well, yeah, there is something. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I mean, granted, I don't love being filmed, so it's like I haven't done it in a while. But it's like, first of all, my thing is like, so I surprised my man because this is the thing. It's like overall, I usually don't give head to him, but it's like when we were like together Friday night, something just like I'm like we hadn't seen each other in a while, and something just is like I went down and like started sucking his dick, and because like he is doing it to me, and I'm like, and then I did all the tricks, and I'm like, this is a reminder to you that I actually am good at sucking dick. Just because I don't do it on the regular doesn't mean that I'm not good at it. I just
That's like my favorite thing is to go down and suck some dick. Like more than any other thing. I love giving head, and I've made sure that I got good at it because the very first time I did it, the guy told me I sucked at it. So I practiced. I watched lots of pornos to make sure I was good at that.
well, I mean, first of all, nobody's good at head the first time they do it, and it's like,
Right? I was like, I can't believe you said that. You knew it was our first time, my first time.
and I love when straight guys are like, "Oh yeah, if I needed to suck a dick, I could." I'm like, first of all, no, you can't.
Well, I am amazed at this straight guys who are bad. Like, bro, do what you like. Do what it makes you feel good. Why is there so much teeth?
That's another thing. It's like, it's like with the teeth thing. It's especially it's like you've gotten ahead before, and it's like if you haven't gotten ahead before, it's like again going back to porn. When do you ever see people's teeth in porn? Like
No, you don't.
it's
They get rid of them.
it's like you don't either. They're invisible, or because like you're watching porn, chances are most of them are on meth anyway. Take the teeth out of the mouth before.
uh, yeah.
Yeah. So okay, so do you have any desire to work in studio porn?
It would be fun, I think. It's a lot more like regimented and scheduled. I kind of like doing it when I feel like it, being able to like do what I want to do. But I mean, it's nice because you know you're getting a paycheck if you do it for a studio. You know you're going to get paid for the set. Like, it's not dependent on if people enjoy it or not because you're just getting a set amount of money usually, which is pretty nice. My friend's been in talks with one of the studios to try and get stuff done, and because it stinks. Like one of his videos went viral and then he got no followers again for like weeks on like Twitter and OnlyFans. So it's really like crazy how like people respond to things or don't if you're on your own, if you're not really linked up with the studio.
It's because in some ways, like overall, it's oversaturated. That's another reason probably not to do OnlyFans. Is like there's too many people. doing it because everyone thinks that like it's like I'm hot, I can do OnlyFans. It's like
It's tough. It's not that easy. Like especially after like COVID.
yeah.
Like it all blew up after that.
Also, it's like with that, I love the guys who's it's like yeah, you might have a nice body. It's like your face looks like you got hit by a truck, but I mean like why would it's like nobody wants to see you like
My favorite is the ones that like post a tease picture on like X or Twitter, and you could tell, and then like someone will subscribe, and it's not that big. like, like they obviously stuffed their pants with something that drives me insane. Or the ones
that
who are like,
that's just
repost
that's
this for a surprise. The surprise is that they are not going to respond. You're just reposting them, giving them free advertising.
it's that, and it's also it's like for me, I've never gotten it. Going back to the whole straight guys thing, it's like why are you going after straight guys? Like why are you letting straight guys work in this field? And you've got fags that are like giving them all this money. It's like especially with me like examples. It's like why the fuck are you giving money to Dan Benson? It's like you know he's not gonna ever get with you. Like even in like your fantasy world, it's like bitch, you don't have a pussy. He's not gonna get with you. It's like it's literally it's like go out here and support someone who's actually like part of our community.
Yeah. Not trying to like take advantage of it because they know they can.
Because it's like the people was like, oh, the straight guy's so hot. I'm like, first of all, it's like with that, like a guy is a guy. Like it's like those like incest videos where it's like, at least for me, it's like I might get off to some of them, but it's not because it's like one guy pretending to be like the father and one guy trying to pretend that he's like the son. It's like no, it's like because there's two hot guys having sex.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
or it's like this, it's like the step brother and like the other brother. It's like, first of all, so much of porn is like, at least now for me, it's like it's so predictable. It's honestly probably why like,
Yeah. Hey, that's why men.com always has those fake cum shots, and ever since right in front of my salad, they've been trying to make the next viral moment. I feel like they've been trying so hard to recreate that in a different way.
my thing is like it's like when guys do Sean Cody or like brokestraightboys.com, and then all of a sudden they had been in gay porn for years. It's like bitch, we all know who you are. It's like you can't pretend to be like
My old roommate was a broke straight boy once, and I'm like, this boy has never been straight the entire time I've known him. Like just go out there and do porn. Why does he got to be a straight boy? Like,
and it's like the thing of like, hey bro, I never really thought about this before, but I like your ass. It's like
I can say that. I can call you bro if that's what you need.
my thing is like, to me that is like the least sexy thing in the world for a guy to call me bro. I'd rather you call me bitch. Like I'd rather you call me like motherfucker than call me bro. Like no.
I don't know. I've been using it so often the past like month or so. I don't know why it came back. My boyfriend didn't go. Like we were stopped at a stop sign, and I called him bro, and I cringed so hard. He's literally my boyfriend.
Yeah.
We're like, bro, you could have gone.
But see, like that's not bad. I'm talking about like when guys are like flirting, hitting you up with bro. I'm like,
Oh yeah. I have a friend that does that heavily when he first meets someone. And I actually invited him over to watch Rent once and was worried that he would think I was too gay because of it. And then I learned that Rent was one of his favorites, and he was way more into it than me.
Yeah, I didn't like. I watched the movie Rent. I didn't like it. That's just
I knew all the music before I still never seen it on Broadway. I've only seen Cats on Broadway. I've only ever seen other musicals either because I've been in them or my friends have been in them. But
see.
yeah,
I will say this. I have as much of an unpopular opinion as it is. I've seen both Phantom of the Opera and Mamma Mia on Broadway. I did not like Phantom of the Opera, but I did like Mamma Mia a lot. Like,
my dad and stepmom saw Mamma Mia on Broadway and bought the album, and it was all we listened to in the car for months was that Mamma Mia original cast recording.
and it's like, for me, I don't know. I like the like. Well, I guess Mamma Mia is like the one mainstream one, but it's like I like more like Moulin Rouge, like the weird, like kind of. Like, well, I shouldn't say that. I would say all weird and eccentric, but also one of my favorite movies is Burlesque. So I mean, like, no,
I love burlesque. I was talking about it
yes.
today. My roommate hates it. He gets so mad. I'm gonna watch it after this. Someone was referencing it yesterday when we were talking about work and how we haven't been paid yet, and
Yeah,
they were like, "I would have been like Christina in that first scene in Burlesque, and I would have
they
taken the
just
money out of the
steal
register
the
and be gone
register. Yeah,
already." I love that movie. It might be bad, but I enjoy the music and the dance numbers. I think they did a really good job. Plus, it's got Cher and Christina Aguilera
yeah.
amongst
It's
others.
which that is amazing. I will say this, like, if you've never seen Cher live, I would highly recommend it. Like, I remember that
Um,
was that was actually like when I finally came out as gay because I literally like I had come out as bi originally, but like when my sister, because I saw Lady Gaga and Cher in the same month, and my sister's like, just admit that you're gay. Like, it's like I'm like, fine, you're right. Like,
oh,
but yeah,
no, I've
that's
been a pop girly for life. Spice Girls, I used to have posters, I had plates, I had lollipops, I had cassettes, DVD.
yeah,
I had so much Spice Girls memorabilia. I was in love. I loved Baby Spice. Emily Button was my favorite. I've seen that movie so many times. And Meatloaf was like one of my favorite singers growing up, and he was their bus driver. And when he says, "I'd do anything for those girls, but I won't do that," I died.
see,
Like that is so campy.
well, okay, I might get my gay card taken away from this. I've never seen the Spice Girls movie, but like,
Oh, it's so good. It's so ridiculous. It's terrible. But
I heard it's like one of the worst movies ever. Like,
yeah.
well, my thing is, well, this is what I will say. It's like it can't be any worse than Glitter. Like,
I've actually never seen Glitter. I've only seen parts of it. I know some of the music, obviously, because it's
the
Mariah, but the
the
one thing I
music.
remember about Glitter is the MTV Movie Awards that year. They were like best digital performance, and it was like one of them was Gollum from Lord of the Rings who won,
Yeah,
but he was up against Mariah Carey and Glitter.
yeah. I will say this: like, the music is good. Glitter is a very boring movie. It's like,
I gotta see that still. I gotta add that to my list since I haven't watched it yet.
well, it's like everyone expects uh singers to be good at acting. I'm like that's not true. It's like It's like, honestly, it's like you need proof of that. Like, literally look at Madonna's pretty much whole acting career.
Yeah.
Like,
She's a great singer. The acting.
well, okay. I will say this. I love Madonna, don't get me wrong. Madonna is good depending on what era she's in. Like now, I love when I see the gays like going out to the celebration tour. I'm like, Madonna is in her 60s acting like she's in her 30s. Like, what is wrong with you people? Like,
I will not go to her concerts because I mean, I don't want to wait an hour and a half in the venue for her to show up. I'm not about that. If I'm there, I'm there for when you tell me to be there.
well, yeah, it's for me, I don't know. As a musician, I always have to show up on time or early because it's like, especially me, I want that sound check to be good. And I want to make sure that, like, especially in like a competition, I want to make sure that the fucking host of the night is handing me a microphone. I'm supposed to be singing live. That I lost a competition last time, and I honestly wholeheartedly believe that it wasn't like entirely my fault, but it's like at part it's like you hear my track playing, you know me, you know I have to sing live. Like,
Yeah.
why are you not handing me a microphone? Like, I shouldn't have to yell at you being like, I need a microphone. Like, no.
Yeah. I feel that.
Yes. Works. Okay. So what made you want to get into modeling?
I'll just people think I should do it sometimes. I mean, I don't see it. I I like the attention. That's number one.
Right.
I'm an attention whore for sure. But I don't know if people say they want it. Like when I post like stuff and I get likes, kind of validates it, makes me feel better.
Yeah. I mean,
Hopefully make a little more money with it one day.
well, here's step one of how to do that. Get out of Orlando. Like
Right? Orlando's not the place for that. My
it's
he's been trying to get me down to like Fort Lauderdale, Wilton Manors for about 10 years now, probably. He thinks I do well there, but I don't know anyone there. I have a lot of friends in Orlando. I've made like a little life here, so it's hard. Even when I move away, like I'm usually down here visiting every few months if I'm not living in Orlando.
well, see, that's I will admit, if you ever wanted to, that's where I can kind of help because I know people like all over the place and like there's a well, this is my thing. It's like you're probably hot enough for Orlando, but like in like Fort Lauderdale and Wilton and all that, there's a standard that
Yeah.
most of them have to meet. And it's like
I'd be
and I'm
working
like,
out twice a day every day if I was living in Miami or Wilton, Fort Lauderdale, because I feel so ugly when I go there every time.
it's because like especially some of the people, it's like you gotta it will that and you have to like try and look young because like I've seen some of those. Like one of my friends is like an OnlyFans like booker slash like party booker and all that, and he's like, and he talks about he like jokes that this like one guy is his boyfriend. I'm like, yeah, the reason you chose that is because that bitch makes you look young. Like, like we all fucking know it. Like, it's like you pick the guy who is 32 that looks like he's turning 40. Like, clearly, that's why. It's like, For me, I don't know. Like, shit. What am I trying to say? I mean, I look young. I like underneath all this. I've been told I look 24, and I will take 24. Like being 30 and like looking 24. That to me is I have no problem with that.
Yeah.
If you told me, oh my gosh, you look 38. No, somebody told that to my best friend. So my best friend is just turned 30 last year, and somebody's like guessing his age, and he said 38. And like when he told me that, I had to put down the phone because I was laughing so hard. I'm like, I told you, bitch, you should have been moisturizing your skin. That's not my fault.
Right? My old esthetician, she would do my brows up in South Carolina, and she's like, use an SPF moisturizer every day. I go through it sometimes, but I got wrinkles. You can tell I've got my glasses on, but
Yeah,
got little crow's feet when I smile. I hate smiling because then I can see them. It makes me so self-conscious. I was like, it gives me away so easily.
it's because you go outside. Like that's another reason why I'm gonna survive in Detroit. I do not mind staying inside at all. Like
I
it's like
love being out in the sun, even if I'm hot and sweaty. Like I love soaking in those rays. That sounds so dumb.
I could literally like if there were some days where like I didn't have to go outside at all, it'd be like done. Like
Yeah.
it's like keep me inside. It's like especially that's another thing. It's like on my weekends overall, it's like I sleep. Like if I'm not having to do stuff, I'm asleep. Like
Oh yeah. I had one of those days today. I slept most of today. I was gonna do things and I got dinner and I've done this. That's about it today.
well, that's because like especially I would even say like it's probably worse in Orlando. It's like if you don't do shit before noon,
Oh yeah.
it's like 85 degrees outside. Like it's like 90, 100. I'm like pass.
Yeah. My boyfriend's got a shed. We got to finish putting it together, but we're usually working in the morning or in the evenings. Then we're too tired. And there's one piece left to put on the friggin' roof, but it's too hot out to do it. And then at nighttime, it's too dark and there's no light in his backyard for it. So we got to do it early in the morning, and we never get up early unless it's for work.
Yeah. Well, you can do it like you can put it off and do it during fall.
Yeah.
Because like
Things gonna we still got what, like 4 months till Florida's fall.
well that was what was it? I remember having this conversation with my dad and he was like trying to explain to me it's like because I didn't know when summer ended. He's like, summer doesn't end until September. I'm like, well, what the fuck do I know? I've lived in Florida my whole life. Summer's the whole year.
Right? You get fall for a little bit in December and January and a tiny little bit of winter in between.
Yeah. That's why I'm like, I thought fall ended. I thought summer ended in August. Like, but
It throws me off so much living down here and talking to friends up north because it'll be like April and it'll be like snowing there, and I'm like, it's 80 and sunny here. I was like, it's not summertime, it's winter. What?
yes. Okay. So, well, I guess okay. So, how long have you been in your relationship? Like,
About 5 months now. We started. I mean, I talked to him.
oh, fairly
It's pretty
recent.
new, but we had like met before, like through the apps years
Yeah.
ago when I lived here before, but just talked on them, never really met up. And then I moved back this year and I was out with my friends and I ran into him and he didn't remember me, but his name's pretty friggin' unique. So I remembered him.
Yeah.
I was like, we've talked before.
Yes.
But yeah, he's a good guy. He takes care of me. He makes sure I'm good. He lets me do what I want, but like I like having him to come home to and talk to. He helps a lot. He's a good guy for sure.
See, that's the thing where it's like, at least, see, that's great. It's like, especially with my life, I'm like, that's why, in terms of like my friends with benefits, that's the only person that I've like considered like going out with, because we've been having sex for pretty much the whole time I've been home. So like for almost 5 years. So it's like, yeah, it's like you make me feel amazing, and it's like, just like, do I really want to start over with
It's
some
hard.
guy? No, yeah, because starting over is hard, and it's like, especially that thing of will they, won't they, the whole the relationship starting. Well, okay, for some people you need to start slow. For some people it's like when you know, like,
Yeah.
and I don't want to have to sit there and be like, it's like, oh, we're just gonna sit here and like chill and date. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love dates. Dates to me, well, actually, I am very cheap. Like, some people are like, oh my gosh, for our first date, take me to sushi. I'm thinking, lower your standards, bitch. Like, there's an in between like um sushi and McDonald's.
Yeah.
There's an in between. It's called Olive Garden. Like, it's it's like, for you. I had somebody in LA tell me that. I'm like, so you're expecting a guy on a first date, expecting him to buy you sushi? I'm like, do
We
you not
did.
understand how the world works? Like,
Yeah.
especially out in LA where everything is like literally probably 10 times what it is in the rest of the country.
Mhm.
Like, I'd be like, this is my thing. I'd be like, okay, if you want sushi, here you go. Here's your Great Down ticket. We're going to Detroit, bitch. Like, here's where I'm gonna go take you for sushi. I'm not fucking doing that in LA. Like, ridiculous. Yeah,
I'm
some
good with
people
the
are.
fast casual. I don't care. Buy me a beer. Like, let's go have a coffee or something. I'm not too high maintenance. I try not to be. Sometimes I can't be, apparently, but I try to be more laid back when it comes to that stuff.
Because especially like, I would say now, especially the economy shit. Like, overall, it's like, why so many people are like, that's why, what was it? Somebody's like, they said they can't afford to go on dates. I'm like, what kind of guys are you dating? I'm pretty sure I wouldn't mind going to like a park and like
Yeah,
talking,
go to
and
the beach
that's
or
great.
something. Go have a picnic.
It's like, who needs to? It's like, first of all, it's like, who needs to go to a movie? Because like, at a movie, some guys would like that as a first date. My thing is, I'm like, but we're not getting to know each other, and especially like if you're like, let's go see this comedy movie. It's like, but you could have bad taste in movies. Like, we could have gone to see Bros, and like, I'd have been like, why the fuck did you drag me to this movie? Like,
Yeah, I mean, and movies, I don't know, you don't get to know the person. I feel like the movies are a terrible first date. Okay, you don't get to talk. You're sitting in there for an hour and a half learning nothing about the other person, except
yeah,
maybe that they like a different genre of movies than you.
Yeah. It's like, honestly, and it's like if somebody's like movies, I'm like, be more creative. It's like if worse comes to worse, like it's like go on a robbery spree together. Like that'll be an interesting first date.
I know a few guys that would enjoy robbing a bank as a first date.
Because I'm one of the, at least for me, I'm one of those people who like when it comes to taking money. I mean, like, granted, taking money from banks is a bad idea, but it's like if you're smart enough to like hack into Disney's like mainframe and steal some money from Disney, I'm like, technically they're fucking over everybody. So it's like if you steal like $100,000 from Disney, you think they're really gonna miss it? No. Like, just take it and put in your bank account. It's like,
right? Office Space. That's what they did in that movie. They just take little tiny bits of money with the code.
it's like what is it? It's like the one thing is if you like ever saw the movie Mad Money, it's like you know exactly how much to take. You can't take more than $10,000, otherwise the government gets. Or no, actually no, you can't deposit more than $10,000, otherwise the government's
Yeah,
gonna look
they'll
suspicious.
notice.
It's like actually, I was thinking 100,000, $10,000 sounds like a lot of money to me. Like, I mean, like I know you're not set for life if you do that, but
Hey, 10,000 would pay off my student loans from the college that I did not finish.
you took out
Like,
you took out student loans to go. Well, I mean, I guess
to
that's what
go
they tell
to
you to do.
a state school that was in state. Yeah,
That
just so I could live on campus. That was what was most expensive. The tuition was a little over $1,000 a year for most semesters, but to live on campus, that was like almost 4,000 a semester. There was
if
a
you
dumb
wanted to
move.
live, if you wanted to live on campus because like
I wanted to get away from my family. I wanted to live on my own. I'd never been away for like more than a couple of nights. Never did like sleepaway camp or anything. We couldn't afford that. So I moved away to college. That was a mistake. I should have stayed home and took community college. Would have be a much better place probably with money.
see, that's why like the one thing that I say about money is like, especially the way like people do things now, again, as you said before, going back to people not paying in cash, it almost seems like money isn't real. If
Yeah.
if that makes sense, it's like you're handing off a credit card and like it doesn't hit you till all of a sudden you're like go and then like your card gets declined. I'm like, that's when
It
it
makes it a lot easier to spend it when you don't have the actual cash in your hands.
yeah, because you don't think about it. It's like you're not having to. But I mean, granted, that's like a millennial type thing. Like most
Yeah.
of us, like what is it? Some people feel like you have cash. I'm like, what is this? 2007? Of course I don't have cash. Like,
I tried to use cash one day going to the movies with my little brother because I was like, I'm gonna spend this much money. We're gonna go see the new Top Gun, and I'm gonna go get some like popcorn and soda. And they wouldn't take my cash. I waited in line for 20 minutes. I missed the opening of the movie.
they wouldn't take cash. Like that's
No, it took me three different stores to spend this money that I had taken out as cash. I got denied by three different places. They're like card only.
that to me is wild. Like, I've never heard of a place not taking cash. Maybe that's
Oh,
like,
it made me so angry because I was working at a bar that we got paid in cash. We got all our tips that day.
yeah,
So like I always had cash. I never had money in my bank account because I literally put it in there just to pay my bills. Like,
right.
ugh.
The weirdest thing with cash is, at least for me, so like there are times like I remember when I was in Detroit, I was in like a Walgreens, and like I handed them the 20, and I'm like, can I get, and I think I had to pay like $5 to get into the bar. I'm like, can I get a 5 and 15 singles? And like, whenever you have to do something like that, they always look at you like, what the fuck are you doing?
Right.
It's like, you know exactly what I'm doing. Like, and that's one thing.
Oh,
My city instinct kicked in at that point, because it's like, I remember like I was driving, and then all of a sudden I went to go pull in the parking lot, and it said $5 to park. I'm like, nope. Let me
yeah.
circle around the street, because like I'm not paying to fucking park here. Like, I'm
Right?
already having
Oh,
I'm having to pay to get in. I'm having to pay admission to get in. I'm like, I'm not paying you extra money to like go
oh.
park.
That happened to me when I was out a few weeks ago. There was this parking lot that I'd always parked in, and now there's a company there and they charge you. And I'd already pulled in, so I felt bad. I didn't know. I'd never had to pay there before. All my friends were like, I would have pulled out and gone somewhere else. I had to pay like $15 just to get into the club, and it was only a $5 cover because I had to pay $10 to park. I was like, what the hell?
You were going to a place downtown, weren't you?
I was going to Southern Nights.
Oh yeah. That's why I never went to Southern Nights, because I'm cheap. I don't pay to park. Like,
It's so hard to find parking there.
that's why I always went to Parliament House, literally, because like you never had to pay to park
Yeah, I
to
loved
go.
it.
So okay, so you can answer this. So okay, since you live in Orlando, so how is, like, I know Stiffies is associated with Southern Nights, but like, how does that work? Is it in like the same area? Because like,
It's all connected. They got like a hallway behind it that connects District Dive and Southern Nights.
but from what I remember, that building's not that big. Did they expand it?
So Stiffies is where that Southern Craft Bar was. And then they took over all the space next to it to the end of the building. So they've got all of Southern Nights, the courtyard out behind Southern Nights, and then they've got that whole corner lot, and then Stiffies is like the end of it.
So they expanded that. Instead of putting in parking, they decided to like build. That's insane.
They just made more space for more people with the same amount of parking. And you can't park in any of the streets, so you got to walk like at least a few blocks if you don't want to pay, because nobody wants drunk people parked in front of their house in the middle of the night, which I kind of get, but also it's annoying because it's a popular nightclub.
Yeah, that is such a, yeah, I don't know. Like, maybe like if I end up going, I'll probably end up doing Uber. Like, well, that's another
Yeah.
thing where it's like I remember. So like when I was in Detroit, I specifically had a rental car, because I'm like, there's no way I'm paying for Uber or Lyft for 4 days. So like,
It gets expensive.
yeah, it's ridiculous. I remember when like Uber used to be, or when Lyft used to be like cheap. Now it's like
Mhm.
it's like pay $20 each way. Why? Like,
Yeah, I'm like, it's not even 5 miles. Like, I know, and they don't pay the drivers as much as they used to pay them from the fare either anymore. So most of the money is going to the company rather than the person who's driving you. Which, if more was going to the driver, I'd be more willing to pay it, but it's not. So it's become
Yes.
like all the old taxi companies that it was supposed to displace, I feel like.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I was thinking I've never paid for a taxi. I've been in a taxi before, but it's like
Yeah.
if that's the same price, it's like
Ugh.
why? And plus, I feel like taking a taxi would be safer. It's like they theoretically have to be vetted to take a taxi. You don't have to be vetted to do Uber or like
Yeah, it's definitely not as
any.
much background checking as most of the actual cab companies do. But I don't know. I've taken a lot of cabs, and this was before Uber and stuff. So like
Yeah,
some of them would like try to take advantage of you, thinking that you didn't know the area, and would try to make you pay more. They did it to me when I lived down here before once. It drove me this whole roundabout way back to my apartment complex. So I was like, why
so
are
they
you
get it.
going this way? So I paid it,
Oh
but he didn't
yeah,
get a tip because I knew where I was going and I knew what he was doing.
yeah.
And he didn't want to listen to me when I told him he was going the wrong way. So,
Yes. Okay. So, what's your relationship to drugs and alcohol?
um, I like to drink. I like to smoke weed. Those are my two favorite drugs. I've tried most of the other ones, but mostly those are like stuck to special events or parties. Weed is like my thing. Like
Yeah.
I haven't done it so much the past few months since I moved back, mostly because I haven't had the money.
Yeah.
But that's the one I enjoy the most because I remember everything. It relaxes me. I just chill at home and stuff my face or clean. Sometimes I'll get like into a very big cleaning mode if
Yeah.
I just organize the whole house.
See, that's like the one thing that I didn't mind about Orlando. It's like, granted, I didn't do anything, but it's like most guys were like weed guys. It's like around here. I remember one time. So I have ADHD, and I used to be on pills. I don't take them anymore because like health insurance is expensive, so I just
Yeah.
like wean myself off them. And I had this guy like hit me up, and he's like, can I take your Adderall? I'm like, no, bitch, I need that to fucking focus. Like, I'm not giving you my pills. Like,
Right?
like,
Uh,
like what do you think this is? Like, it's like Adderall and Tina. It's like seriously, it's like no.
no. I mean, like, one of my friends tried Adderall for the first time actually recently, and he was like, it made me feel normal. And I was like, then you probably have ADHD.
It is.
Oh,
It makes that is so true. It's like clearly if you have ADHD, it's like
yeah.
so yeah. So for me, like drugs, clearly I don't do alcohol. I drink occasionally. Like I don't drink when I perform because like I had one of those nights where like I had people buy me drink after drink after drink after drink and like buying me shots, and then I had to drive an hour home to my to my dad's place. Then like 45 minutes into the drive, I got pulled over by a cop, and like luckily he came and saved me. Otherwise, would have got a DUI. So like
Yeah.
that kind of stopped. And there's something to being the performer in the room where it's like everybody else is fucked up, and like I clearly know what's going on, and it's like wow, it's like you're getting fucked up to well. Here's the thing that I see people. It's like if
It's
you're
good
getting
to know what you're doing,
yeah,
be able to remember it.
yeah, it's like that, but it's like if you're getting fucked up to perform on a Wednesday night, maybe you have a actually no, I'm gonna say maybe I'm being nice. You definitely have a problem. Like if you're getting drunk during the middle of the week, it's like granted, it's like yes, I know you're a drag queen. I understand you need a few drinks,
Yeah,
but you don't need like 5 beers and then like 2 shots on top of that. Like
yeah. Take a shot or two, just quell the nerves. Like, calm me down a little bit, a little less nervous.
that was actually so that was my that was talking about that was my drag sister's former drag mother, and like she has shit talked my drag before, like behind my back. She didn't know that I heard it. And
Ugh,
like when she was like drunk off her ass doing one of the shows, she was hitting on me. I'm like, and
that's
luckily I
happened
was
to
in
me.
I
I've heard.
wasn't in I wasn't in drag that night. And I'm thinking, I'm like, bitch, you fucking know who I am. Like,
I had someone be like, I would never do anything with him, and then they're drunk, and they won't stop hitting on me. And I was
and it's
like, oh, well, apparently you would.
it's those alcohol goggles. It's what makes everyone do everything.
Right.
Yeah. So, what are your thoughts on how the LGBT community is being treated today?
Um, I'm happy that like there's a lot more visibility and it's more accepted. Like I feel like back in the day it was okay if you were the stereotype or if you were in the background.
Yeah,
Um, I mean, there's still a lot to do. I know there's still all these anti-trans laws and like the don't say gay laws, and it's like, who cares? Like, why are you so concerned? Like, are you gay? Like, I mean, not to mention the number of like anti-gay politicians that are caught being doing gay things. like
exactly.
like why are you so like I think there's a long way to go for like our community, and I mean even inside our community like there's people who are, I know when I first came out I was terrified of drag queens. Like I would go to the gay bar, I was like a new gay, and one of my friends was a go-go boy. He was still in high school, he was like 16, and he was dancing at a bar in New York City, and his boss was a drag queen, and I was terrified of her. And now I'm like, whatever, like who cares? Like I wasn't like against them. I was just didn't
Yeah,
understand them. And I'm like, I don't understand why anyone would be against something that's just like, if someone's living their life, like let them be. It's the friggin' the golden rule. Like if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. They say that all the time when we were growing up.
right.
So if it's not affecting you, who cares? Like let it go. As long as no one's hurting someone else, I don't think anyone has the right to say what anyone else should be doing in their life. If you unless you're not. It's what is it? If you're not paying my bills.
Yeah, it's honestly, it's like yes, it's like granted, I would say yes. Gay people overall, a lot, well, not everybody, but like a lot of people are petty and shady. My response is, it's like be funny. Like I love when people are just like throwing shade, and it's like, girl, where's the joke? Like,
Yeah. I saw something recently. It was oh, what's her name? I can't remember who the queen was, but she was doing an interview with Trish Paytas, and they were just reading each other, and they were both laughing and having a good time, just like joking about like Botox and like
yeah,
and like not being happy with their bodies and praying to Jesus for it. And it was just, you could tell they were just they. It wasn't like they weren't trying to be mean to each other. They were just joking around, like trying to make the other one feel better by like playing down on each of the other. Like, I don't know. As long as I don't think you should be nasty to people unless they've given you a reason to be nasty to them.
No, and it's like, honestly, it's like, especially the best reader knows how to read themselves. Literally, my favorite joke of like mine that I've written. It's like, clearly, it's like I've been with a lot of black guys. My joke is I've been fucked by so many black guys. My ass is a stop on the Underground Railroad. So like, it's like if it's like if I say the joke before you say it, you can't say it to me. Like I already said it.
Yeah.
And I'm like one of those people. Yes. So where am I? How? Okay. So I will say this. Overall, in the United States, we got it. We got it about as good as we're gonna get.
Yeah.
And the thing I always point out to people is like, you have to focus outside of America on the Middle East. When you like talk about people are dying for
Yeah.
being gay, in Africa people are dying for being gay, it's like, at least in my view, that's, as America, is where we should be sending our money to, not sending money to the genocide of people of Palestine. It's like, that's
And then having people say, well, if you were gay there, so there's regular people being killed.
yeah,
That why it's not the same, okay? Like, we shouldn't be sending money to something they're blatantly killing these people. Like, all
yeah,
these aid workers that got killed on a pre-approved route. Like, I get so angry about it because we I can't believe that our tax dollars go to that, and like banning books here when like there's so many other things our money could be going
yeah.
to improve people's lives all around the
Exist
world.
exactly. Or it's like, or if you want to go more direct, it's like, you've got all this stuff, you're banning books, yet you're letting people die in the street. Like,
Yeah.
where's the priority? It's like, I feel like, I mean, granted, yes, it's like, first of all, I love how in Florida they're like banning books. I'm like, are you gonna ban the internet too? What's the point of banning books? Like,
Right? You can still find it online. Like, you can find everything online now. Like,
it's one of those things. It's like, way to like ban an outdated process. What are you gonna do next? Ban porn on VHS? Like, I mean, it's like you might as well. It's like, I mean, what is it? I've heard people talk about like they have friends who are teachers. I'm like, why would anyone be a teacher anywhere in Florida now? They're literally trying to teach. I think like their revisionist history is trying to make it seem like the South won the Civil War. It's like,
it's so crazy. Like, people just want to like make a difference and be that person, and it sucks because like they don't even get paid. Like, my friend,
no.
she had her baby, went on maternity leave, and she's like, I'm not going back to teaching. Like, luckily my husband has a job that can support us. And she's like, it's just so like micromanaged, and like they just aren't allowed to just teach, and they're not paid. Like, as a server, I was making more money like working at Disney World than my friend who had a college degree and had been out of college for like 5 years. Like
That
that, and she's supposed to be teaching your kids, and she's making, and then people are like mad about minimum wage. Who cares? Like, pay the teachers more. Like, they
we'll
watch your
see.
kids.
See, with that, when you talk about the minimum wage, it's like, that's the one thing that I will say is like a pro for Detroit. It's like, granted, yes, the minimum wage is less than in Florida, but because of all those jobs where unions fought to pay people more, you make more money in Detroit and it costs less to live.
Yeah.
Like, because there are plenty of call center jobs. Like, most of the ones around Florida pay at a minimum 12, 13. Like,
Yeah.
I'm lucky
They've
I'm
been
making,
paying that for like over 10 years too. Like it hasn't
yeah.
gone up much.
And it's like when I see in Detroit that like a call center job is paying $17 an hour, it's like, and it costs between, granted, yes, but as I said, you can find rent in Detroit for under $1,000. I've found plenty of places with that. It's like
Yeah.
you just gotta look. And also it's like, while I'm there, it's like I may live in this apartment at first, but it's like I'll get on the like low income housing waiting list. I'll absolutely do that. Like,
Yeah.
th- that's the only reason. Like, my best friend lives on his own around here. He's in low income housing. That's the only reason why he can afford to live on his own, because like,
Yeah. And that's like making a decent amount of money is still not enough for most places. Like I applied for a place up in South Carolina and they accepted my application and let me pay the fee and then denied me for my income, which they could have just told me ahead of time instead of taking my money. And I could afford it because that's my only major bill. Like all else I had was car insurance. Like, like it's
right.
crazy.
Yeah.
They'll take your money when they know you're not qualified, which baffles me how that's allowed.
That, I did not even know that was a thing. That seems like wild that they can do that.
Yeah, I wasn't making 3 times the rent each month, even though rent is my major bill.
See, this is the thing, like, and my sister taught me this. So, like, granted, clearly moving to Detroit, I'm not making 3 times the rent either, but it's like, I'm like, I asked the place that I applied to, I'm like, so if I can show them that I have like X amount in savings, will they take that? And she's like, absolutely, because it's like I have over 10 grand in savings. It's like, trust, I'm going to pay you your money. Like,
Yeah,
even if I have to like use some of it for moving, it's like I'm gonna be able to pay you. And it's like, and I'll work DoorDash while I'm there. It's like I'm not opposed to doing that till I get a job. Like, I'm not
right.
just gonna sit around doing nothing. Like,
I can't do nothing. It sucks. It sucks to stay at home. It's depressing to be stuck in the house every day, all day. I got to get out and do things, and why not make money?
yes, totally. And to my final question, what's the biggest misconception about you?
I don't know. I like to own it. I think people think I'm sluttier than I am. Like, I mean, I call myself a slut all the time, but I don't know. I'm kind of like I'm in a relationship. I think my boyfriend's talking to more boys than me right now.
That's the point. It's like how slutty can you be if you're having sex with the same person? Like,
I mean, we're pretty open, but for the most part, like if I'm hooking up with someone else, it's usually with him. If I'm not doing it for content or something, it's
exactly.
usually I want to hang out with him. I want to see him. I want to go home and sleep with him at night. Like
Yeah.
I'll go to the bar. I might make out with someone. I do that a lot. But I love making out. Like I tell my straight friends, I'm like, it's like a gay handshake. But doesn't mean I'm gonna like go home with you all the time. Like sometimes I just like to kiss.
Yeah. I mean, like, yeah, that's it. Mine, I've been told too, which is one of them is that I'm intimidating, which
I've heard that recently. I've never gotten that until this year. And I'm like, what are you intimidated by? Just come say hi to me. I'm like, so nice. I think I told one person to go away in a year, and that's because they like latched onto us and none of us knew who they were. They like came into the bathroom with us one day. And I was like, who are you? Like, generally, we haven't even talked, and now you're in here.
See, it's for me, it's like, I guess it's because I'm like taller and bigger. So like I'm 6'3", so like I'm like,
Yeah.
so it's like granted, it's like, yes, I understand that. It's like I'm usually wearing dark Ray-Bans in the like club, and especially well, like when I'm in drag, it's like it's not like a bitchy thing. It's literally they were a pair of my mom's. It's usually what I wear in like my performance look. It's so I can take her energy with me. It's not me being a bitch.
Yeah.
It's like it's part of my stage look, but it's like go. It's like talk to me. It's like overall, it's like if I'm in the club, 9 times out of 10, I'm in a good mood. Like I
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't be here if I was in a bad mood. Like I'm not one of those people who's like, oh, I'm in a bad mood, but I'll go out and then like I'll feel better. That's
No. I go out when I'm feeling good. If I'm not feeling good, I'm not going to the club because I'm not trying to
yeah,
put that energy out there when everyone's
yes,
there trying to have a good time.
yes. And then what's yes, totally. And the other one is that I've been told I'm shady, which I mean, I mean, this is my thing. I love when people say like, "Oh my god, you're so shady." I'm like, since when is having an opinion shade? Like,
Right?
it's like just because you don't like my opinion doesn't mean. And it's like granted, yes. Do I say shady things? It's like yes, but it's like most of the time I'm saying it in a joke. It's like I usually
Yeah.
want you to laugh after what I'm saying. It's not me being like it's not like I'm gonna be like go up to you and be like, "What up, bridge troll?" Like I'm not like that. I'm not like an asshole. Like
Uh, definitely.
yes,
Yeah, I think sometimes it's fun to be a little shady, but not. But there's a difference between being like mean about it and like making a joke out of it. Like,
yeah.
for
It's like it's
sure.
like it's like I'm not on like the like real house gaze or whatever. Like I'm not. There's no like camera following me, so it's like
Yeah.
if I had a camera following me and it's like, see, that would be my one thing. Like if I ever did reality TV, I'd be like, cast me as a bitch. So like I would just sit there and they like having a casual conversation and like just say something bitchy, be like, I heard he said that your hole is so loose that you could fit 87 dicks in there at once, and then just like walk away, and then, like just start a fight between people. Like that's the kind of person I would be. That to me seems like that'd be fun.
uh, that's the people that keep the shows interesting, though. Like, otherwise, it would just be people being boring on reality TV. That's what everyone tunes in for. I feel like.
That's why. What was it? I saw somebody like. So I have to say, I'm kind of ashamed that I like this show, but like whatever. So like I've watched like all the time, multiple times, like reruns of the A-List New York, and somebody's like, "That show is so boring."
I
I'm thinking,
loved
yeah,
that
but they
show.
exactly like
I was so sad they got rid of it. I even watched the Dallas one.
yeah. How was that? I never saw that one.
I liked it. I follow one of the guys on Instagram still, I think. Just because of that show.
And it's like the thing is like they said they made gay life boring. I'm like, well, first of all, they were like, at this point, this is supposed to be a show that was revolutionary. I'm like, you thought for the gay movement that a reality show was going to be revolutionary? How dumb are you? Like, it's like you got exactly what
Yeah.
they were trying to do. It's not like it's like if it was a scripted show, like yes, obviously fight that for like because everyone's expecting like Drag Race to be like everything else. It's like, no, Drag Race was revolutionary because there wasn't a show like it on TV when it came out. I will say this. I say this with no problem. I stopped watching Drag Race after season 14, like, or no, season 15, like consistently, because it's like, especially now, I'm like, who our age has cable? Like,
Yeah. It's an event thing now. It's like go to the bar, go to a friend's house to
see,
watch it once a week.
that's the thing. Like, once I get back into a city, I'll probably like start watching season 17. But it's like, especially now, there are no bars around here that show stuff. Again, there's not. This is the kind of area I live in. There's not a single queer bar at all anywhere near here. They're like drag queens perform in straight bars. Like,
Yeah.
and like everything besides bars closes at 11 p.m. So like, there's no point in being out. I'm usually not. I'm at home. Like, let me sleep. If I'm not like out like having sex, I'm usually asleep at like 10, like
Yeah.
9:30. Like,
I
what
love
is
that.
there
Give
to
me my
do?
bed. If I'm not in the club or out, I want to be asleep.
Because exactly, it's like what's staying up? I mean, like, if I had like something to do, but it's like, other than that, it's like I'm gonna fall asleep with the TV on anyway. That's getting older. You all of a sudden, like, especially me, there'll be plenty of times I'll be like having YouTube on. I'll like watch one video and then all of a sudden I wake up and it's a completely different video. I'm like, how long was I asleep? Like, and like you look and it's like something that was 3 hours long, and it's like, fuck, I went to sleep for 3 hours.
uh,
Yes,
definitely.
work. Anyway, with that being said, it was a pleasure getting to meet you.
Pleasure meeting you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
I had
of
fun.
course. Yes, thank you. And with that being said, this is Gay Out the City. I'm your host, Prince Electro Diamond, and I hope you've enjoyed. Yeah.